And we're back in Arcade_In_Live. I'm going to bring in that clip that I just recorded of myself orienting everyone to Kdenlive because I need to put a few elements in there and make sure everything is looking pretty good. So I'm going to go to Add Clip or Folder in the project bin, and I'm going to go into Raw Video. That's where I store all of my assets. You'll notice that there's a bunch of folders here. I have assets that I use, I have raw video I use, music and titles. All of these things are oriented in folders so that they're easily accessible and easy to find. So I'm going to take the raw video folder, I'm going to open that one. This is the clip I just created. You can see that it is, I can see by it is by the time, and I'm going to pull that in. I'm going to pull that clip now. Okay, so the clip is in my clip bin. To put it on my timeline is just a simple matter of dragging it down on V1. I choose V1 because V1 is not the main video track. V2 actually overlays or overwrites the video track. So the main video track in this case, the one I want to put my main video in, is actually the one that isn't the main video track, which is kind of weird, but you'll get a sense of why in a few minutes. So I'm just going to view a little bit of my clip, and you'll notice that my screen recording has an element of the screen recorder at the beginning. So if we come down here, remember I told you you had to use your selection tool. If we come down here with my selection tool, this shuttle, and that's what it's from digital analog. You can also see down here that I don't start speaking for a good 2 to 3 seconds. So number one, I'm capturing my screen capture, which is OBS, which I don't want in my video. And I don't start speaking until I hit this point. So to start my video, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out that section of the video. To cut it out, I go take my razor tool. My razor tool brings up a red line. I go to exactly the position of the shuttle so I can put it into place. I click my razor tool, and it cuts the digital video stream as if it were a piece of film. I can then go back to my selection tool, select the piece I don't want anymore, and delete it. I like having a bit of space at the beginning, and the reason I need a bit of space at the beginning is because I need to put an intro there. I need to say, okay, what's this all about? So I'm going to pull my video over a little bit to give me a few seconds of space, about 12 seconds, just so I have space to put my opening on my V1 timeline. I could put it on my V2 and have it overlay, but I want it to be in line so that one clip doesn't supersede another. So I'm going to go back to my project bin. I'm going to add clip or folder, and you saw before that I have assets. And in assets, I have an intro video. I actually have an outro video too, so I'm going to pull both of them in. Notice how I could select two at a time and say open, and both of them came into my clip. Perfect for me. My intro video is 7 seconds and 11 100ths of a second. So 7:11. I'm going to drag that down in to my line. Notice that because I've left this space, it works out quite well. I might need that space again, and the reason I would need it is because I haven't, although I have my intro video, I don't have a title slide yet. And the title slide is another element that you're going to need in your video. You're going to need to say, okay, well, here's the organization I'm working for, here's the video intro, and oh, by the way, this is the subject matter of the video. I'm just going to pull this back for now. There's two ways I could do that. I can pull it back by my hand, or I can right-click the space and go remove space. Now the space is removed. Right now, this intro video has in it its own little transition. It has what's called a fade out transition. But notice when the video started, it started quite starkly from black. That's because I don't have any transition in between this intro clip and my main clip. To get that transition, I need to go down on my timeline. And as soon as I go to the top of my timeline, this little green circle shows up. That is my fade in circle. So I'm just going to drag it over, give myself a few hundredths of a second of a fade in. And now watch what happens when I shuttle over, notice the more subtle intro. The intro starts much less stark, and by starting much less stark, it obviously looks much more polished. The trick with creating video at home is trying to make it look as polished as possible. You're not a broadcast quality shop. You're using an open source free video editor, but there are still things you can do there to make your video look much more professional, and this is one of them. I know what my video looks like. I've already done a preview of it. I know that I have limited problems with it. I know that I have a few things that I could cut if I wanted to, but I'm just going to go to the end now. And to go to the end, I'm just going to drag this across. Now there's another thing I can do as well. I can actually change the timeline by moving on the bottom right hand corner. I can zoom in so that my timeline is much more compact. So I've got 5 minutes and 33 seconds of video. I've got my intro, but now I can do the same thing on the outside. I can take my outro, drop it in the end. I'm going to bring my shuttle over to the end, and I'm going to change my zoom in a little bit so I can see the outro and also get a sense for what I'm dealing with. So once again, with the closing of the screen, notice I've got that little bit of my OBS software. So as soon as I stop talking, that's when I can cut. So I'm going to go back to my razor tool. I'm going to bring my razor tool over here. You can see the peaks and valleys of where I stopped talking, so I can actually time it. So it's just past that. Go to my selection tool, select that piece of the clip I want to get rid of, press the delete button, away it goes. Remove that space. Now take a look what happens at the end of this transition. Once again, a bit of a stark change between the two. Not a fan of the stark changes, so I'm going to put a little bit of a fade in on one side and a little bit of a fade out on the other side. You have to be careful about how much fading you do, because you don't want it to be black space for a long time. So let's just take a look at this. And then notice that that final video clip faded to black. That's built into the video clip, so I didn't have to put it in there. I can adjust these as necessary as I work through things. This has been a very quick video clip creation. We're going to do some more advanced things as we progress with our video series.